Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Now, I did a video a long time ago and I told you guys I'm starting to become interested in the heavyweight division. And since that video, man, it's just been full steam ahead. There's a lot of interesting things that have unfolded and some changing of the guards, if you will. Tyson Fury beating Klitschko. People like Joseph Parker finally got a world title opportunity. Tyson Fury failed for drugs, cocaine. Just a lot has happened, man. But through it all, I'm still really excited for the heavyweight division. I think heavyweight division, for the first time in the last couple of years, has just been on and popping. You got more different faces and variety. That's what I love, man. I love the variety because for a minute it was kind of stale. It was just like Vitaly, Wladimir, and then you had Tony Thompson and guys that clearly couldn't beat him, Derek Chisora and stuff. But now you got some Dillian Whites, you got Andy Ruiz, you got Joseph Parker, you got a lot of these different Anthony Joshua, people who weren't really around when Klitschko was fighting, like Lennox Lewis, and you know what I'm saying? It's shaking it up. We have more than just Manuel Char and guys like that. So one fight and fighter that has a fight coming up March 4th, that's David Haye. He did a good interview with Sky Sports, link in the description, and he was talking about Anthony Joshua, and he says that Anthony Joshua has come a long way. He said he just seen the progression in Anthony Joshua. At one point, he didn't really think he was all that, it sounded like, and then he's seen him grow as a fighter. And I can't say that I always seen the potential in Joshua. I'm like, man, the dude, he's in shape, he looks focused, he's clearly strong and stuff like that. So I don't agree in that sense, but obviously, since Charles Martin, Joshua, his career has skyrocketed in terms of showing what he could do, because up until that point, they were putting him with Kevin Johnson and, you know what I mean, guys like that he was easily favored to beat. You know what I mean? He was the wrecking ball. He was the undefeated powerhouse and stuff. Gary Cornish, you know what I mean? We knew he was going to beat guys like that. But since, I would say, Charles Martin, he's been rapidly going up in ranks, and now he's fighting Klitschko before a sold-out Wembley, 90,000 people. So it's good to see this, man. Like, I think they moved him. I think they moved him at the right pace, and they got about 13, 14 fights or whatever. And then that Charles Martin, I told you they were going to jump on that opportunity because Charles Martin wasn't a proven champion. So Eddie Hearn seen that as an opportunity, and as a promoter, I guarantee you this: if, let's say, Deontay Wilder fought for the vacant belt and he won, and he got the IBF on top of his WBC, like let's say he fought Charles Martin and knocked him out or something, right? For the IBF belt. I definitely don't think Anthony Joshua would be a champion right now, because he only has the IBF belt, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a come up because it was another inexperienced fighter. And I'm not taking anything away from Joshua. This is just how I see it. Inexperienced in terms of Charles Martin. People were starting to talk about his name, but it was like a Joseph Parker. He was still an untested commodity, and we didn't know if he was the goods, and he didn't even really get to show that he was the goods versus Glaskov, or yeah, I think Glaskov is his name, and that's the fight where he won the title. It ended weird, and Glaskov, Charles Martin clearly was winning the fight, but he didn't get to show the full array of what he could do because Glaskov twisted his knee up and got injured, right? So I mean, fair play to Eddie Hearn. I mean, he made an executive decision. Again, if it was more of a proven champion, I don't know if they would have rushed. They would have continued. I think they would have continued Joshua's path. Like, let's say Luis King Kong Ortiz, even. Let's say he got the IBF, beat Charles Martin or Glaskov. I don't think they would have just rushed and put Joshua. They would have stuck to their path. But they seen the opportunity, and then they just said, you know what, let's accelerate it now or never. You know what I mean? This is the guy, a manageable guy that we could beat, and it paid off for them. It was a big gamble, and it paid off. Charles Martin wasn't proven. They liked their chances and their odds against him, and he came out on top. So fair play to them. That was a very smart move, because since then, Joshua has been racking up bodies, and he's getting guys like Dominic Brazil. He's fighting the guys like Eric Molina, you know what I mean, veterans with power, and now he's fighting the Klitschko. So if he beats Klitschko, he's a rock star. You know what I mean? Because that he'll, in my opinion, pretty much be the #1 heavyweight. I mean, you could say Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder's best name is Bermane Stiverne. And I think if you, like, first of all, if Joshua beats Klitschko, I really see it being by knockout. So if he knocks out Klitschko, he's the dude, you know what I mean? And that'll trump probably the Bermane Stiverne win, because Bermane Stiverne is not as revered as Klitschko. And we seen Klitschko with Tyson Fury, and they went the distance, you know what I mean? So it's just big stuff. But going back to the title of this video, and David Haye, he did the interview with Sky Sports, and he said, "I like the opportunity to get another big fight against a world champion who many people consider to be #1 and beat him. I want the winner of Joshua versus Klitschko. Many people will consider that person to be the #1 in the division. If they're #1, I'd love the opportunity to test my skills against them. Big heavyweight fights, big title showdowns, that's always been the plan." So, link in the description in case you want to hear David Haye, but he's talking about basically giving up to Joshua and saying he's come a long way, and he's progressed better than I thought he would have. And if he beats Klitschko, which I think Haye is picking him to beat Klitschko, then he wants that opportunity. Big domestic fight, big fight for boxing, and he says he has what it takes to land a haymaker on AJ, and he sees something in his style where he feels like he could go down that path and beat him. And I got to tell you this, if he gets past Tony Bellew, that's a fight I would love to see. If Haye gets past Bellew, right, and AJ gets past Klitschko, I would love to see David Haye, because to me, I love Anthony Joshua. I love everything he embodies. Seems like a, you know what I mean, cool, clean-cut dude, brawlic, in shape, knockout artist. I like his technique and everything. The thing that I have noticed in certain fights, and it's still kind of premature because he hasn't had, Klitschko is going to tell me a lot. That's going to show me where he really, really is. Because Klitschko, you don't want to fuck around with Klitschko, for lack of a better word. But there have been times in certain fights, and I don't know, maybe it's certain things. Sometimes different fights require different game plans. But there's some aspects of him that seem like kind of robotic, Frank Bruno-ish. You know what I mean? Like a muscle-bound dude that's just real tight and real stiff. He has good technique, but sometimes, here's another thing, is if things aren't going his way, will he gas? Having all that muscle, will he gas late? And that's another reason why I want to see the Klitschko fight. If somehow Klitschko drags him into deep waters against a guy with power, who's about his height and stuff and his build, and who's powerful himself, how is Joshua going to look? You never really know in those circumstances, because it's all good when things are going your way. But to me, I got to see, and I love to see what fighters do when things aren't going their way. Like, people are like, oh, you bring up Floyd. I bring up Floyd because he's like, when it comes to boxing, everybody knows his fights, and he's almost like a great example, like a model citizen of boxing, because he does a lot of things correctly, from technique to never really got beat up and knocked down and stuff like that officially, things like that. So he's a real good example of people, because one thing that Floyd always mentions is he can adapt, and I've seen him do that. DeMarcus Corley hurt him, Zab Judah hurt him, and then he comes back to beat up on these guys or knock them down, or like dig to their body and slow them down, stuff like that. So I want to see how Joshua's resolve is in those deep waters if he is tested. And I have seen him, like the Dillian White is the fight that sticks out the most, where I've seen Joshua where he looks stiff. Some of his other fights he looked pretty loose and stuff, like the Dominic Brazil, definitely the Eric Molina. But the thing is, the Molina fight didn't carry on. Molina had a stupid game plan. You don't just sit in front of somebody and try to shell up and not throw anything back and fight scared, because it's just like Golovkin versus Rubio. That's exactly what he did. You're going to get destroyed, because his confidence will grow and your confidence is going to decrease, because you're getting hit with the notorious puncher's punch. You know what I'm saying? So that was Eric Molina. He just went out there and embarrassed himself. Like, I don't know if it was jet lag or whatever he was saying, but It just, you can't sit in front of somebody and let them get off and just, oh, hopefully I can weather this storm of them hitting me with 3 or 4. These guys are notable punchers. Guys like Joshua, Wilder, Golovkin, all these guys, they're known for their power. You don't let somebody just wail on you and then like, oh, hopefully I could just weather this and then I'll be good, because you're not going to be good, because they're puncturing holes in your gas tank just by hitting you with heavy shots unanswered, and you're not giving them anything to respect, so they're not going to respect it. But Joshua, Dillian White, he looked kind of stiff. I don't know if it was the emotions and stuff. So again, if David Haye gets past Bellew, stylistically, I think he could almost give more problems to Joshua than Klitschko. Like, and he's shorter than Klitschko, but it's because Joshua does, to me, fight a little bit stiff, and I want to know what his gas tank is like in the later rounds and deep waters. And the thing with David Haye is he's a former cruiserweight, and he moved up to heavyweight, but he's been able to maintain a good amount of his speed and athleticism, and he's way faster than Klitschko. And people are going to say, oh, but Klitschko beat Haye. Styles make fights, and that's kind of how it goes. You look at Bradley beat Marquez fairly easy, but he can't seem to beat Pacquiao convincingly, and Marquez knocked out Pacquiao. So triangle theories don't really work. I honestly, if Haye looks the same, and it's hard because he hasn't fought anyone, so Bellew is going to be his first big name since he came out of retirement. But if he looks great in that fight, and it looks like his speed and athleticism is there, the Haye that I've always known and watched, I think would probably be more problematic to Joshua's style than Klitschko, because Klitschko, I'll save it for the 7 reasons, but I'm definitely leaning towards AJ in the Klitschko fight for my 7 reasons. So we'll see what happens, but I want to see that. I mean, I am bummed out that Kenneth Briggs got lied to and didn't get his opportunity with David Haye. I think, you know what I mean, Haye should have been a man of his word. Don't make the man fight on it, like stalk you and then make him fight on your undercard and promise him an opportunity and then don't give him one for whatever reason, saying, oh, it doesn't make sense on pay-per-view. I mean, you should have said that beforehand, like fight on my undercard and then I'll think about it. But you don't tell him in front of rolling cameras he got a shot when he doesn't. So, I mean, either way, I want to see Haye back in there with actual heavyweights. Like Tony Bellew, it's cool because it's like a circus fight. Bellew's confident, but he is a cruiserweight. And, you know what I mean, it's a cool domestic rivalry. I think it'll do a good crowd and things like that. But if David Haye wins, which he should, which I expect him to probably win that fight just based on the size differential and the fact that Bellew's been stopped at light heavyweight 175, then it's cool for the build-up and stuff, but it doesn't really show me as much. Like, if Joshua beats Klitschko, you beat another motherfucker who's 6'6", who's 242 pounds like you, and he's a long-reigning champion that just recently lost to Tyson Fury, right? So if he beats him, that's going to definitely be a meaningful win for him. But David Haye knocking out a cruiserweight or beating a cruiserweight, I mean, that doesn't really tell us much. So I want to see Haye get back into the spotlight where he is challenging for a title or against rightful heavyweights, like guys like a Joshua or Wilder or whoever else. Let me know what you guys think. I like David Haye's attitude, what he's saying. I just want to see it graduate to the next step, which is actually, if you get past your next assignment and Joshua gets past his next assignment, then y'all two fight or fight Wilder or whatever. I just want to see the great big fights at heavyweight. Luis King Kong Ortiz, all these guys. Joseph Parker's a champion now. Let me know what you guys think of David Haye's recent comments. He gave props to Joshua, favoring Joshua to beat Klitschko, and he said he wants the winner of that fight. So let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.